In the beginning of this movie, while Riley and her dad Elliot were driving, heading to their new location for a vacation, they got into an intense moment which made Elliot to crash into an animal. He was afraid and in shock, so he took a weapon to check out what he had hit, only for him to find out it was a baby unicorn. Riley felt pity for the unicorn, and she then noticed an unusual visible energy flowing at the horn of the unicorn. Out of curiosity, Riley made contact with the horn. Immediately, she touched it. It was like she was falling into another universe in shock, and while she was about to reach the light, her father yelled her name, and he killed the unicorn by hitting it multiple times on the head, so Riley can come back to reality. They arrived at the lodge few hours later and were welcomed by Shepi. Elliot introduced his daughter to him, and he was then cut short by Belinda, who was a sibling to Shepi. Belinda then took them to Odell, who was the CEO of the company Elliot works in. Odell then asked, how was their drive? Unfortunately, Elliot denies any incident happening on his way. As Riley went into the bathroom to wash up the blood of the baby unicorn on her face as she was told, she notices some spot on her face disappeared, which wasn't normal. She began to feel so uneasy. While this was going on, the unicorn horn began to glow again in the car. Riley came out of the bathroom calling on her dad, saying they need to check on the unicorn. She felt it wasn't dead yet. The dad didn't believe her or pay attention to her till they saw Elliot's car shaking. Elliot then tried to convince Odell and his family that Riley was sick and needs to be taken back to the hospital, but no one was able to buy that. The family suddenly noticed the noise outside coming from the car and went to confirm. Behold, it was a unicorn. As the unicorn tried to come out, one of Odell's guards gave it a headshot which made it die instantly. Riley then explained she had an acne before, but not anymore. Elliot then said he also had an allergy before, but could not notice since they crashed with the unicorn, and the blood of the unicorn touched the mentioned places. That night, Elliot came to talk to Riley about the incident, and Riley insisted that her dad wasn't supposed to have given the unicorn to the family, but he never seemed to understand. She got angry and closed the door at him. While scrolling through her gallery, she discovered there was a picture of unicorn at the back of her mom's photo, and she went to make a research on the unicorn. She finds out that even as friendly as unicorn could be, it could be vengeful when annoyed. While in a nightmare, she is awakened by some men on mask and is taken with her father to a lab for test. After series of tests conducted, they found nothing. So while making their research, they found out that the unicorn seemed to be dead, but the horn keeps on firing signals. And also trying to find a cure to Odell's sickness, they indicate that the horn has more use than the blood of the unicorn. Odell then gave them the go-ahead, and if it doesn't work, it will have to be his last earthly business. While Shep and Riley were discussing on her research, Odell comes out dressed up like a young man in his early 40s and very agile. After conducting a series of tests, they came to a conclusion that which the scientists said it was impossible. He explained even if they were given all the time and resources to reproduce another unicorn, that it would never be possible. Odell then threatens that if he can't handle the research, that he has no choice than to get a new head of pharmaceutical research. Everyone immediately then started work. After a while of making research, Riley came out trying to talk to Belinda, but she looked busy. She then tried to talk to Odell, but he was busy on a call. She then met her dad to know what was going on, but her dad was blinded by money. Riley somehow called their attention, telling them not to take the unicorn but instead leave it or bury it. She explained that unicorns were seen differently thousands of years ago, and it was a divine monsters which was almost impossible to catch, and they also were able to heal anything. And she warns that if they don't leave the unicorn, that bad things might happen, but they didn't listen. As they planned to move the unicorn out, suddenly all the light twitched off with the horn beginning to gain so much energy and phones going off. Odell then orders Elliot to go check out what was happening. Riley had to come out of the car too to check out what was going on. Suddenly, a big horn seemed to have struck through one of the scientists' stomach, followed with a giant unicorn in its roar. The securities immediately start shooting at the unicorn with everyone running for their lives. Riley had to run back into the car for her safety. After a while, the unicorn attacked her in the car, and she had to press the car horn to attract the attention of her dad and other securities. The unicorn got more aggressive and cracked one of the security's skull. After staying for a while under the car, Ridley ran into a safe place, and the unicorn almost closed down on her. Mysteriously, when the unicorn saw her, it stayed calm, like they had a bond. The unicorn then passed its horn through the door while it glows for Ridley to touch. Before Ridley could touch it, the security started shooting at it and got away injured. With so much confusion, Odell asks Rydell how she knew something like that would happen. She explains that she somehow shares a bond with Unicorn. That was why it didn't attack. Also explaining that she had a vision, not just a research. Odell didn't want to understand Ridley's words, but instead he said, instead of leaving the injured unicorn to die in the forest, they will need to go after it. Everyone prepared to head into the forest to look for the injured unicorn except from Ridley. After securing the unicorn baby horn, the scientist wheels the baby unicorn to its parents while Belinda goes to get the car. Belinda finds out that his son Chef was left behind, and she goes inside to go get him. Chef, on the other side, kept on taking the unicorn horn powder, which made him high as he kept going through Ridley research. Odell's servant finally opens the gate manually, but the unicorns are raged at the sight of the baby, also the horn missing. They kill the female scientist and tear her apart. With the servant seeing all this, he runs outside. Chef blamed Ridley for all the ideas, and she pleaded with everyone. Chef then says that there was only one way, was to bring a pure-hearted maiden, which was Ridley. She is heartbroken because she knew all of this, and her father consoles her. Chef plans to use Ridley as bait to lure the unicorn. Belinda disagrees, noticing how high Chef was on the unicorn powder. Elliot is then angry on why his daughter will be used as a bait, and also he informs them that he will be quieting their company. As Elliot and Ridley were about to leave, Chef stand in their way, insisting Ridley must be used as the bait. Before they could argue, the unicorn breaks through the door, which makes both family to splits. As Elliot and Ridley hide for safety, they hear the unicorn sounds. While Chef and his mom Belinda were all trapped with Chef still holding the baby unicorn horn. Chef finds out that the horn has been taken. Unfortunately, Elliot was in possession of the horn. Ridley is surprised, but he tells her that he did it for her own sake. He also pleads with Ridley for not being a better parents to her. Chef takes on a crossbow to take on the unicorn. However, as Belinda makes a sound, the unicorn drags her and finally kills her by taking out her intestines, with Chef unable to do anything. Elliot finally tells Ridley to run while he distracts the unicorn. While trying to get out, she is captured by Chef, who threatens her with the crossbow and plans to use her as a bait to capture the unicorns. It wasn't long as one of the unicorn arrives, but instead of tearing Ridley apart, it comes and lay beside her. Chef immediately uses the opportunity to tie its legs. Elliot arrives with the second unicorn while he holds the horn. As the unicorn goes closer to Ridley, it sniffs her, then lay on her feet. Ridley then used the opportunity to tie its legs. Elliot is disgusted on how Chef had to use his daughter as a bait and stabs him with the unicorn horn, while Chef stabs him with an arrow. As Chef tries to get up, the unicorn regains itself and kicks Chef to death. In the final moments of Elliot, he asks Ridley what she saw while she held the horn. She explains that she saw her mother waiting at the other side. As he gives his last smile, he says he would be happy to meet with his wife as he gives up the ghost. Kol Betty Esser the Rayon regains his violence. As she cries, the unicorn picks up Elliot and drops him on their dead baby unicorn. They cross their horn, and with strange lighting and mystical power, they bring to life Elliot and the dead baby unicorn, and both father and daughter unites. Griff the servant came back with the police. The officer considers both Ridley and Elliot as suspect. It wasn't long, as the unicorn raced to meet Elliot and Ridley, and with an understanding between the unicorn and Elliot, they saved them. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.